Welcome back, folks, to Free My Pain Now with Dr. Matt Doduro. This is episode 27. And one of my good friends, Nathan Tate.
Good to be here.
CEO of Blueprint Digital. Nathan has been instrumental in really turning our practice around the last year and a half, 2 years, and just very grateful to have you on our team and really want our listeners and our doctors to know more about you and your company and some of the really extraordinary things you guys are doing.
Great. Yeah. So got started 12 years ago and just really developed a passion for helping businesses, telling your story and what makes you unique from other businesses, and then adding a lot of strategy into that. So we've grown tremendously. We've got an amazing team, and we love working with you.
Well, listen, and I can not forget how we met through our friend, Dr. David Ehrman.
Yes.
Rest his soul. What a great, wonderful person, and my mentor, and
so good.
But brought us together, and we actually got to work together a decade ago. And then it's funny how full cycle we get to work again.
Yeah.
So you guys, obviously when I started in practice 25 years ago, marketing was a lot different. You'd go out and set up spinal screenings, and you'd do events, and you'd put newspaper ads and yellow page ads, and you just hope people would call. And I didn't really have anything special marketing wise, but fast forward to 2020, and it's totally different. And so tell us a little bit about Blueprint Digital and how you guys make it work and so successful.
So you're exactly right. Marketing has changed dramatically over the last 10 years. And I would say even in the last 2 years have been some of the most intense changes, specifically on the social front. And so now it really takes a combination of story and strategy. And I guess you've always needed that, but they have become more and more important to where if you don't have both, you won't survive. If you have story without strategy, then nobody's hearing your story. Mm-hmm. If you have strategy without story, then you're just noise because consumers, no matter what business you're in, consumers are overwhelmed with information. So you have to make sure that your story really connects with your audience, with your potential patients or customers. And so that's been how we've been able to remain successful, is work with businesses like yourself who they know their audience, they know their patient base, and they know their story. And then we kind of add the strategy to that and get a lot of success.
If I could just tell you a little bit, I'm a researcher at heart. I'm a chiropractor. We had this wonderful neuropathy program. We had 9 years, Samuel, pay attention. We had 9 years of really testimonials and hundreds of testimonials from our patients. And we knew it worked and we knew the research worked, but I didn't really know how to get my message out.
Yeah.
And it was working with you and Jacob at Blueprint Digital that you took my storyboard. You took all these videos and you let my patients who were telling their stories tell our story about our clinic. And then you put it on like this really cool storyboard, and where patients who are out there looking, and if they saw somebody that had suffered from a knee pain, and they said, wow, if they could help that person, maybe they can help me. So just tell a little bit. Honestly, it's Free My Pain Now with Dr. Doduro. You actually freed the pain of marketing. You took that off my one of my list of job duties I had to do. And I'm so grateful for it. So how can you tell us a little bit how you can help other doctors out there?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say that your story and the marketing change that we've seen over the last few years is somewhat unique, and that's because you understood the importance of story and documenting these testimonials, and so you had been compiling those. So, like I said, you really need strategy and you need story. So my recommendation, whether it's Blueprint and you're working together to help some doctors, or if you just hear this and you're out on your own and you're looking to improve your marketing, which is basically true for every doctor, I think there's so much to learn really from what you've done, and that we just put it together, and that is to let the patients tell the story. So the common mistake that we see throughout all industries is that people love to talk about themselves, right? So hey, this is my clinic, and we're cleaner, we're better, we're faster, we have more doctors, we have better doctors, smarter doctors. And really, patients, they don't care. They care about themselves, just like everyone else in the world. That's really what they care about. And so what you've done and what we've done together, right, is let patients tell their own story. And so now prospective patients are seeing these stories and they're saying, I want that to be my story, right? They're not seeing it and they're not thinking, Dr. Matt is amazing. They're not. They're thinking that's amazing. And I want, however they did that with them, I want it to be done for me. And so I think that's what's important. And it takes effort. It's a lot of the effort that you've put in where you're documenting these stories. You're being intentional. You can't do it after and say, oh, shoot, I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure that you document those stories. And then, and then on the strategy side, once we have those kinds of assets, we can put them together into a really, really strong campaign.
You guys gave me focus. I'm a little all over the place. I do have ADD. I don't know if it's an official diagnosis or just my wife's, but I came to you a couple of years ago and I had the TRT, the tissue regeneration technology. And I was like, man, this is the Bentley of medical devices. We haven't seen anything like this in 25 years. And I had all these different, ideas and marketing things. And you just you kind of focused to say, hey, this is what we need to really start with here. And it's been a plan over 18 years that we've been chopping at it and so grateful. I went from a hunter, I would go out and do talks every week at some different location around Atlanta. And really I was on the road a lot. And Nathan, what you made it, you turned it where I stay in my clinic and these people come to me now because they want what we have.
Yeah.
And honestly, as we put we've got 20 different devices out there across the country.
Right.
You're helping us create an organic brand, I'd say, as we start working with different doctors in Northern California, like Scott Kramer and Duncan McCullum and Ashlyn Gazarowski in Chicago. And Derek Fox, who I just came from in Broomfield, Colorado. We're going to have a really cool network and be able to place these patients looking for help so they don't have to fly into Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, you've done it all with, it's not simple. You've simplified it, but I know there's very complex. The landing page is really important for a clinic. Yeah. Tell us a little bit why.
Yeah. So I've talked to most of those doctors and they're so excited to get some of the results that you've gotten. And, really it's not just us, it's a partnership and the results that you've had in practice and then documenting that. And so bringing it to your specific question on landing pages, I think, again, it's something that people miss. So you need story, you need strategy, but then now we're starting to get into some of the details of strategy, which I love. Specifically, I would encourage any doctor, whether they're, a friend of yours or just listening into the show, go look at your homepage, look at any landing page, but specifically look at the homepage and see, what's the point of this page, right? And I love doing this exercise with any business owner because usually it's a very eye-opening experience. Because they'll say, well, I want people to learn, right? Well, that's not actually true. So if somebody comes to your website, they learn more and then they leave, are you happy? No, of course not, right?
Mm-hmm.
The websites are built or should be built to really convert and to drive patients into your clinic. So that's what we've done, with you guys, is take all of the landing pages and make sure that they clearly communicate, what the patients are going to get. So what's the offer? And then just make it really easy to convert. So it's a big phone number, it's a clear form. And we've seen, the numbers go up dramatically, just by being intentional. It's really not rocket science.
I had Facebook ads for 5 years prior to working with you guys. And I got a lot of likes and a lot of people comments, but I didn't get people converting to come in until I started working with you. And I don't know what your secret sauce is. I don't know what it is. I don't care. It works. But the one thing that I say is, for the doctors out there, your net worth is your network.
Yeah.
Right. And I had 12,000 people and patients who'd come through my clinic, and you were able to take that tribe and help me build on it and find the similar people around the country that wanted our services. And I love that. And we're helping so many people you're taking our bandwidth and just making it so much broader.
It's great.
So what can a doctor do right now? How do they get in touch with you? What do we need to first off, they can go to freemypainnow.com and fill out a form and mention Blueprint, but also directly, how can they reach you guys?
Yeah. So my name's Nathan, and you can visit us at blueprintdigital.com. My email is nathan@blueprintdigital.com. And, just like yourself, Dr. Matt, we're teachers. So, even if someone just has some questions, I love the opportunity to help people. And, even if you're a really small clinic and, maybe you're not ready to engage with an agency, that's fine. We love to just help people out. And if you want a campaign, that's great as well. But yeah, Nathan at blueprintdigital.com.
And I'll also say that he is our preferred partner for any of the groups that are putting the stem cell machine or powered by TRT. You have it. We've built these campaigns, and it's not like we're gonna reinvent the wheel. You've got them, and we can actually plug and play these in different locations all across the country. And you're the first group that actually over-delivered, right? And dollar for dollar, you guys have been the best marketing thing I've done in the last 5 years. So thank you so much.
Awesome. It's a pleasure.
And I just want other people to learn about your technology. Yeah, I mean, you're helping us with so many things and getting the word out. If you guys like us also, don't forget, like us on iTunes, share a review so other people can find us. Thank you so much. And again, Nathan, a pleasure. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, welcome back to Free My Pain Now with Dr. Matt Doduro. And our second guest of episode 27 is Tim Blanc. Tim, thank you for coming up all the way from South Carolina.
Indeed.
Flew in today, and thank you so much. Tim, what's you're with Tissue Regeneration Technologies.
I've been in the medical business since 1991, selling a lot of different devices. I spent a lot of time in urology. I actually have purchased quite a few Litho Golds, which is a lithotripsy machine that is made by TRT. So that's how I kind of got introduced over 10 years ago to this new technology that we have. So I am very excited about the prospects.
So yeah, I mean, you're one of the top knowledgeable experts in the country on this technology. I mean, your years of sales working with the lithotripsy. What again is a lithotripsy device?
The lithotripsy is a machine we use in the operating room to break up kidney stones. And so it uses a much higher power acoustical sound wave to break up the stones. And then the folks in Germany figured a different design of the sound wave to open it up so there's a soft wave. It's an open parabola. And that has eliminated the pain and allowed us to treat a lot of different things.
Wait, you said parabola. That's something like from trigonometry class in 10th grade. So the difference, like you said, the lithotripsy, they're high intensity, they're focused, they're much more painful. People have to be put out with anesthetics.
Correct.
With this low intensity, I call it the mobile lithotripsy. It's 20% of the strength of the larger hospital units. And, they're finding it's unfocused, so you treat a larger area with it.
Right.
And again, what makes it different is the parabolic reflectors. Can you touch on that a little bit?
The parabola is kind of like it's like an open sea almost, if you will. And then for the lithotripsy, the sound waves are focused, so they focus on the stone and disintegrate the stone. They discovered when they opened up the parabola and had kind of a showering effect of the sound waves, they were able to treat a lot more indications in orthopedics. We're now finding some real great applications in urology, female sexual health, and we can go on. It's an incredible technology.
We've had so many different doctors come on and say it's one of the most versatile devices we've seen in 25 years with the least amount of side effects, which, I know you'll tell us a little bit more about that. Now, many doctors, and you're out there in the field, you're working with doctors, urologists. I know we're going to meet a wonderful urologist tomorrow for lunch that you're in town for. The first thing that a lot of doctors say to us is, what's the difference between this radial device and your technology?
Right. I think our technology really gives you a lot more diversity, and it has a lot to do with the penetration of the energy.
Okay.
With there's quite a few radial devices on the market that have gotten out there quickly because they were selling them pretty inexpensively. But I think they're finding shortcomings now because the amount of penetration that you can get is very small compared to ours. Ours actually goes over 3 inches in depth into the tissue. So for men, that would allow you to get into the bladder neck, to get into potentially the prostate, and certainly our biggest indication now is sexual health for men
And women.
improving blood flow and sexual function. So that's been a big hit for us.
Yeah, and the radial device is more of a mechanical. It's got a almost like a ballistic. It actually creates tissue damage, where ours
Right.
does not have any tissue damage.
Right.
And research-wise, it's radial SWT or shockwave therapy, where
Yeah.
ours is more of a genuine lithotripsy, which I always
Right.
want people to understand. It is true heat, light, electrohydraulically produced sound waves.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're touching on some things. That's one of the first things that we notice that a doctor wants to know, what's the difference, right? Because ours is like the Bentley. And so, you either buy a Kia or a Yugo or our device. and I found, just looking at the research, that the radial has about 1/8 of the biological effects.
Right.
And I think that's because of the penetration. We're working more on a cellular level with the lithotripsy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you chat about
Well,
that?
and with the radial too, the technology is like a cylinder within a cylinder. So the cylinder just pounds,
Right.
and it creates a micro trauma in the area that you're treating, and then that will bring some blood flow. But it doesn't give a biological effect like our product does. And the biological effect is it's going a lot deeper into the tissue. It's creating a lot more blood flow naturally because it's bringing attention to that area. And also is creating angiogenesis, which is one of the key aspects of our product, is that we're laying down new blood vessels and capillaries. And, for men's sexual health and women, as it turns out, that's one of the key elements.
I'm really excited about your company. I think they're doing such a wonderful job. And in last December 2019, I believe they got FDA clearance as a Class 2 device to work on wounds, diabetic ulcers. We recently had Dr. John Mullins, plastic surgeon. I know he's looking to get this out to more of his peers for the wound capabilities. I mean, there's over 500,000 amputations a year.
Oh, it's incredible. I spent 3 years selling a human tissue product for Smith & Nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And I was amazed. That technology really was a breakthrough for patients. But I can honestly say that I think our new device is much more effective. There's a lot less need for the patient to do follow-ups. You can treat the patient can go home. There's not a lot of compliance. When you use a human tissue product, there's a lot of compliance. And these patients, they say they're going to do it, but they don't do it, and that has a definite effect on their healing rates.
Yeah, I mean, there's, several nice documented benefits. There's over 122 peer-reviewed studies, from decreasing pain, improving circulation, activating our body's own resonant stem cells.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many stem cell clinics out there right now.
Yeah.
They seem like they're popping up on every corner.
Yeah.
They're very expensive.
Right.
I say this over and over. Stem cells may be the future of medicine, but right now they're the future for millionaires and professional athletes.
Right.
Like the common Joe can't afford this. This device actually gives patients a regenerative medicine option and using your own internal.
Because it recruits your own stem cells to the area of the injury. And what I've found is I've called on a lot of these new functional medicine doctors or regenerative medicine doctors, which are fantastic because they look at the whole picture for the patient before they make a decision as to how to treat it. But I've seen, in many cases where, they'll inject the stem cells and the patient pays, $6,000 to $8,000 for that injection. And over a week or so, those stem cells start to disperse throughout your body.
They migrate everywhere you have inflammation.
Everywhere. So I think that's a distinct advantage that we have is that we're attracting your own stem cells to the site of the injury. But I think we can also work together with the stem cell companies because, maybe they can reduce the amount of stem cells that they're using, substantially and use our device to promote the healing together.
I'm traveling all over the country as you are. And what I'm noticing with these regenerative medicine or anti-aging clinics, we can use it. This is the first device that you can not only detect, locate the true source of the area, but it helps you with the diagnosis and then treatment all within 10 minutes. You give us 10 minutes, we'll give you your life back.
Yeah.
And this is where the regenerative medicine clinics, before they put the stem cells or exosomes, they can run it over a shoulder,
Yep.
pinpoint the areas,
Yep.
and then we know where they're doing it. But in
Yep.
the big algorithm, we don't start with a $7,000 injection of stem cells.
Right.
We want to start with less invasive, less expensive.
Mhm.
If we don't get great results there, then you move up the algorithm to either cortisone or epiduros or some type of injection, and then possibly PRP, which is plasma-rich platelets.
Right.
And then the really big thing is, going for the stem cells.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's really our message, is how do we get that out there, right?
Yeah. And I think what's interesting too is that, when you go to a doctor's office, when you go to a chiropractor's office as a patient, personally, I want to see options, and I want the doctor to say, okay, here's the options. We can go and inject $8,000 worth of stem cells, but quite frankly, we should wait on that. We should try a few of these other tools we have in our
Repertoire,
office,
yep.
and see if we can get you healed without having to go to that expense or that kind of suffering.
It's funny. It accelerates the body's normal healing capabilities. If there are some weaknesses or things that we can't work on, you don't want to work on younger people because it will actually mature or accelerate the growth plates at the end plates of the bones. We have to be careful that we can't run it over pacemakers or over fetal tissue or a pregnant woman.
Right.
But other than that, I mean,
It's pretty wide
there's
open.
not a lot of adverse effects. And in
Yeah.
Europe, this is the go-to
Yep.
prior to surgery. It's an
Yeah.
option that we need to start looking at. Well, thank you you're on the same mission that I am.
No
and that
problem,
we want to put one of these in first every state in the country, and then second every major metropolitan area. And we're on that mission. And together, I love going in the trenches and working with you every day.
I do too. For sure. And I mean, my last little plug is that, I've been doing this since 1991. I've been selling medical devices, and I can truly say, not trying to sound, but I'm in it for the patients. And I've seen and sold technologies that work pretty good. And the doctors will push that technology because it pays well.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in it for the patients. We want to bring the best technology to the patient. And if our product isn't the best technology for their indication, we'll recommend something else.
Absolutely.
And so that's, I think, how we want to be known at TRT. We're really in it for the patients, and obviously supporting the physicians and other caregivers that are using the product.
For the patient. Thank you, Tim. Really impressed.
You're welcome.